Hello and welcome to your live Warhammer tournament show where we talk about the biggest and best tournaments coming up over the weekend all around the world. This is the Warhammer Meta Chasers. My name is Paul, your host. I'm joined by Dustin Henshaw
Hello, everyone.
and Adam Camilleri.
Oh, g'day.
We can see you.
Yeah.
We're doing this live. I want to say what's up to folks in chat. Domo Do Good, KR, Steve, Dorian, good to see y'all. How y'all doing? Welcome, everybody. If you were just coming to watch us live for the first time, welcome. If you're coming back or listen to us on the aggregators, know we do this live each and every Thursday at 9 p.m. Eastern time. I'm ready to run down these tournaments. Now, we have a singles event and a team event that to talk about. Both of them are going to sound familiar. This is not the first time these events have been run. The first event we're going to be talking about is the Cherokee Open. Near on 300 players in North Carolina in 8 rounds of play, 297 competitors coming to duke it out in the South. What are we going to see there?
This should be amazing. And just so everyone knows, Eldar and Guard both in full force this week. So this will be kind of the first week the world is running all the new rules, because we had some last week that were new, weren't new. And so this week, yeah, man, new meta. Here we go.
Let's see what this new meta is looking like then. So the Imperial Super Faction, there are 3 Sisters of Battle, 17 Custodes, 5 cult mechanics. Stop putting cult mechanics, man. That's not a thing.
I'll type Walker in there next week.
Oh my! Right? I will not read that. That's
sick. Walk.
No, I will not read that. 14 Astro Militarum, 11 Grey Knights, and 8 Imperial Knights. Space Marines. There's 24 Adeptus Astartes, 10 Dark Angels, 8 Space Wolves, 19 Blood Angels, 2 Black Templar, and a Death Watch. Chaos. There's 12 Chaos Space Marines, 4 T-Suns, 15 Death Guard, 11 World Leaders, 18 Demons, and 16 Chaos Knights. Xenos, there's 17 Necrons, 15 Orcs, 8 Tau, 13 Votan. Hive Mind, there's 17 Tyranids, 4 Gene Stealer Cult. Eldari, there is a single Drukhari and 15 Eldari, meaning the faction podium is Adeptus Astartes topping it off with 24. Blood Angels right behind them, well, 5 behind them with 19. Demons, 1 behind them with 18. Custodes, Necrons, and Tyranids, 1 behind them with 17. And Chaos Knights at 16. That's a great spread after that first 5 drop from Adeptus Astartes.
Think of that, though. The Orcs and Eldari both at 15-15. So this is, we're still getting high numbers. The deeper and deeper you go in the stack, that's like almost 11 factions. Don't check my math. It's a lot of factions that are all there, rocking at least, 5% of the field.
Correct. The tail of this one, though, is the Astartes. Can the Astartes be stopped with the numbers that they have? The top 2 podium positions both being Adeptus Astartes, both wielding Oath of Moment, and there's still a couple of others that are up there as well. Good numbers for, when you add up Dark Angel, Space Wolves, Templars, and Death Watch, they total like another podium position as well. So this thing is looking like it's going to be a Marine fest. And can you beat them 2 or 3 times in 8 rounds to go the distance? Because it could definitely be the case for the majority of players.
Well, you got to be able to play them now. It's just with all these double oaths is one thing.
Yeah.
Oath with +1 to wound. It's just out of line of sight is already a problem, and then when you add decils into some of these, that's terrifying for a lot of armies.
Yeah. I would like to say, with the expected flip of all the people who were playing Drukhari or playing other things or flooding back to Eldari is absolutely on. That wave is cresting as we speak. We would have, because in previous weeks it was almost dead even. Sometimes Drukhari and Eldari. Sometimes Drukhari was more than Eldari, and I'd be very surprised if we see Drukhari anywhere near Eldari for the next couple of months. Eldari is just going to be,
especially the fact you can include Ynnari units in the Eldari, and so you can scratch that itch and play some of the new hotness at the same time.
Well, absolutely right. I've already seen a couple of Ynnari lists coming out of some of the bigger team events coming up that have like 10 incubi slammed in there. So you still get some of that goodness, like you said, Paul. Some of the numbers that do surprise me, very low on the Tau numbers. The Tau not even breaking into double digits here, only 8 players in representation versus like 13 for Votan, 15 for Orcs, and 17 for Necrons. Are definitely the least taken Xenos. And then really, really good numbers for Demons. Actually, really like solid numbers for every Chaos faction, with the exception of Thousand Sons. Good quality of Death Guard. They only just missed out on the podium, being 15, just after Chaos Knights in 5th place. But the Chaos Knights numbers are very, very interesting. Now, a lot of people are touting Chaos Knights as an Eldar solution, and they're also touting them as a thing that won't get blown out by things like Guard, and Astartes are actually quite good into Astartes in a lot of different matchups. So the Chaos Knights might be one to watch, getting a little bit of a flood back as the counterplay to some of these big heavy hitters coming out.
Are you thinking the reason they're good in Eldari is that most Eldari are going to have just the 1 unit of Fire Dragons
Well, even if they've got 3 units of fire dragons, it can be awkward. If you've got 13 war dogs or 10 plus war dogs, and they've only got 3 units of fire dragons, and you are good enough at the game that you can trade out 1 for 1, like 1 dog for 1 unit of fire dragons, you're still going to have 7 dogs after all their anti-tank is gone. Because they're essentially those 3 units and Azumin once per game are the only things that are going to guarantee like in melter range only as well. Because if the fire dragons aren't in melter range, they don't guarantee kill a dog. They're the only things that will go one shot every time, just about every time. And once those things are handled, and they can also be handled via use of the possible 13 havoc launchers you've got to just indirect pick at them. Before you send
getting in and
anything
out
in.
of transports and being able to
Well, see,
split fire.
Exactly right. That's the awkwardness.
Yeah.
That's the awkwardness we're seeing. So one of the big things I will say is that a lot of people are making a huge deal about needing to have a wave serpent solution in their list, as in like something that will go in and just go through a wall, kill a wave serpent when they're staged up, doing the innie outie, like we said, jumping in and out with those things. I'm not quite sure what the number is going to be for wave serpents on say LGT or GW terrain, but a lot of the WTC boards that people are playing on in Europe, wave serpents are too wide for many of the gaps. Those gaps are made to be for like Lim and Russ level chassis, and the little just the little 1-inch like pokey outy bits on the side of the wave serpents, they make it too thick to go through those gaps. And so usually on WTC boards, wave serpents are seen way less. Usually it's only 1 in each list. So that's definitely something to keep in mind as well if people are going really hard looking for those wave serpent solutions.
I think you're spot on there with at least having a wave serpent solution, because in the early days, until people have figured out the right mix, there may only be one. So like having at least one answer is probably a good idea.
100% agree. But yeah, this is actually quite a nice spread. Like I said, there's only a couple that are looking pretty low. Of course, we don't have a single Imperial agent here, which isn't that big a surprise. Once again, extremely low in the Sisters of Battle numbers. They're literally like the 3rd lowest. Yeah, 3rd lowest. We have Drakari with 1. We have Deathwatch with 1, and then Adeptus Sororitas. Black Templars with 2, then Adeptus Sororitas with 3. So they're the 3rd lowest of the taken factions, not counting agents. So yeah, wow, they're just in the absolute doldrums right now.
Sad face.
Sad face. They'll come back. They'll be back around. Anyway, I've got one list for your viewing pleasure from the Cherokee Open. This is Junior Fleehey, who I believe was the #1 Votan player in the world last year, and last year's ITC season, which just finished up about a month ago at the LVO. Now, a lot of people are looking at Votan as an army to watch, because whilst people are saying land forts are not going to be the way to go forward, because just having a big 200-point model that'll die to like 1 unit of 5 fire dragons is not what people are keen on right now. And plus, to combat Eldari and indeed to combat a lot of the bridgehead and MSU based guard lists, you just need more bodies on the ground. You just need more units in your army. Having 1 big durable unit isn't always the best. And so I've been really keen to see what Leagues of Votan players do, because they have a lot of good tools into these metas at the moment, but they're tools that come with a cost, either in points or by being not very durable against their opponents.
Nurgle Matt in the chat's got a great point here, is that the Leagues of Votan incredibly good and are slept on. I really do think that people have kind of a perception of Leagues of Votan, either because they're a brand new faction, or they only had that kind of one build that kind of shocked everybody for a little while, and then they got toned back and stuff. But they're extremely consistent, and in the hands of a great player, we're seeing them put up big results.
Agreed. Like, you think things like Pioneers, like the bikes. A unit of 6 bikes kills every single Eldari unit that is within its table quarter. Like, it just like these 2 bikes kill, these 2 bikes kill, these 2 bikes kill, and each one of the heavy weapons in that unit kills another unit of 5 guys, especially if they have any sustained hits or anything like that. Hearthguard is another one. Now, Hearthguard are a bit more awkward, because Hearthguard get picked up very easily by Scions, because they're only 2 wounds with toughness 6, so the Scions come down, wound them on 2s, and kill them for each plasma shot. So they're a little awkward there. But Junior has bought an Oathband. He's got a Brokir Ironmaster with Appraising Glare. And as soon as you see that Ironmaster, your brain should automatically go, okay, Thunderkin, here we go. 2 Ironhear Champions, 10 Hearthkin, 3 Sagittars, 6 Thunderkin with Grav. 5 Berserkers, a unit of 10 and a unit of 5 Hearthguard. Only a single land fort. And for those points, he gets 3x3 Pioneers and a unit of 10 Jaegers, plus the little bits of MSU here, there, and everywhere. So he's going to have 1 big drop bomb of the Hearthguard, one big anti-tank bomb, or anti-everything bomb in this meta with the Hearthkin, because they still have blast with a hell of a lot of shots and a very good Overwatch, but they will absolutely waste any mechanized army, especially things like Shatterstar that don't have good screens. Like they'll just come on, they'll just ice the Silent King just straight off the top. This is a very interesting list. I keep expecting to see more Sagittars, but it seems like 3 to 4 is the number that most Votann players are willing to go to, and they won't seem to want to go to that 5 or that 6th one as of yet. And the single land fort here. What do you boys make of this list?
It's a different take on it because it's less transports, right? And you're saying they want more MSU units to be able to combat all the MSU armies that are coming out there, so you just need more bodies, which makes sense. It just feels weird to me because they're so slow.
It's so slow. That's why I like bikes. I like bikes because
bikes are very good. Yes.
Yeah, but the problem is they die. They're not very durable. But
they're often a trading piece or something you keep in the back so you can get secondaries because they have.
That's what I'm thinking. You don't have to they have a lot of movement. They're the fastest thing in the army. For the most part.
Yeah.
At least, on the table, things that start them or get them where you want them to go. But you don't have to do that. You can, use them just as escorting pieces.
Yeah.
Or as isolate when a threat has become isolated, go over there and hose them down.
Yeah, agreed.
Although it's real tempting to just this is my fastest thing. I need to move fast.
Yeah, correct. I need to move fast, get angles, kill stuff. I do really like the inclusion of the Thunderkin. People automatically always look at the Thunderkin as just an anti-tank option, but they still just have a bunch of shots with blast.
Sustain.
Well, that's what I was about to say. There is a lot of blast in this army. You think about the 5 and the 10 Hearthguard as well. Essentially, if you could make Hearthguard a little bit more durable, they'd probably be like the first or second best anti-infantry killing units in the game.
Yeah.
But the Thunderkin are D6 shot blast, anti-vehicle 2+, at hitting on force at 18 inches at 5.22. So it's actually just a good gun. People just look at it as just an anti-vehicle 2+ gun, but 5.22 is another anti-infantry destroying unit. You think about what that does to Scion units. Like 3 Thunderkin should probably dunk a Scion unit. That's 3d6 plus 6 because they're blastable by 3. So plus 9, right? They're blastable by 3. Yeah, exactly right. The other thing I was thinking of is orcs, because they're a one-stop shop for orc solutions. They'll come on and they'll kill 2 kill rigs or a couple of trucks if they can get line of sight on them. And they also dunk the contents if they're already out of the trucks. So I actually quite like the inclusion of the Thunderkin at the moment. And of course, they Overwatch on a freaking 5+ as well with all those shots.
They need a little help hitting on 4+s, but the Overwatch hitting on 5s is pretty strong with all the other little special rolls.
Yeah, spot on. So great list by Junior. Should do exceptionally well here. And now it's time to pick some winners, boys.
So if you're new here when we go down one of these events, we talk about what we think is going to win, the faction or the player, then we predict who's going to come away with the number 1, 2, or 3 spot. And then in the after show, we talk about on our Patreon for level 2 and higher, we see who won, who was right.
Yeah, correct. And whoever's winning right now, it doesn't really matter. No, it's not that important, right? No. Me and Dustin, 2 out of 3 of us agree. It's not that important who really wins the points.
So I'm gonna let y'all go first. Yeah.
Listen. February only has 28 days, 29 at most. It's not important. We don't need to count it at all. It doesn't matter.
No. Okay, so I have a D6 here. Dustin, do you want 1, 2, 3 or 4, 5, 6?
I'll take 4, 5, 6.
You won. It's a 6.
I'll just take Votann. Actually, you know what? I'll go with.
Dustin.
Okay, I won the roll.
You did. You totally did win the roll. All right, let me have a look at some of these stats. What am I picking? How can I not pick a Stardies?
How could you not? Like if I couldn't get Votann, I'd go with the Stardies. There's just no.
Yep, easy done. Paulie boy, what you like?
And I'm going with Blood Angels.
Yeah,
and not just for meme reasons.
Nope.
Is that
it's for points?
With
it's not a bad call, mate.
Eldari on the tabletop, like one of the ways that the Eldari are going to get defeated is getting closed in and taking the fight to them, and not letting them use any of their tricks.
Yeah,
and Blood Angels are really good at that. So
absolutely are.
Going to go with that. Next event we're going to be talking about, this is the Pyra Cup Nations. This is a 8-player team event held in Poland. Now, do not adjust your set. I actually said, we were talking about in the pre-show, I was like, I'm pretty sure we've covered this one, and it wasn't a year ago. They're actually doing these every 4 months, 5 months, something like that.
It feels like at least 2 or 3 a year of these, and these are international level events. So these are nations sending their teams, their preparation teams for WTC, and so this is where you will see teams of probably 3 to 4 of the previous year, or the established players at the international level, taking a bunch of prospects to the world stage. And so this is always a great place to see what the best and brightest are brewing. And whenever we get the chance to look at one of these events, we absolutely will. So we have, just to give you a rundown of nations, it's held in Poland. So Poland has 2 teams. They've got a team A and a team B. Like a dang near full strength French squad, dang near full strength Sweden squad. They're not holding back and bringing prospects. They're bringing their murderers. The Netherlands are bringing a very strong team. America's bringing a very strong team, but America has, I think it's 2 or 3, and then they're bringing just a deluge of prospects. And then I think I already said France, Germany, and England as well. So there are some of the best at the WTC contending here, and it should be very exciting to see what comes out.
It'd be great games. I mean, you can imagine like all that.
Incredible games. And so you can assume what if you see an army that is in a high number at this event. Of course, there can only be 8 in representation here. Assume that's one of the best armies in the game, just straight up. The best players in the world.
Not even assuming. Level. That's not even an assumption at that point. It's one of the best armies in the game.
It just is. The best players in the world have decided this is what is worth taking at the highest level of the game. So wild.
Yeah, and I don't think there's going to be too many surprises in here. We got get into that. So
there really isn't.
When we go to predict the highest battle point winners, what we do, we don't pick the winner. We pick the highest battle point finisher. We're also going to pick the country that we think is going to come on top.
Yeah.
As I'd like to point out also that everyone on this panel is from a different nation. So let's see if we end up breaking ranks after we've seen the numbers here.
Nice.
Dustin, what are we going to see there?
So for the viewers of action, there is a single Custode, a single Admech, 7 Astra Militarum. There's your first one right there. Only one team thought, we don't need no guard. And it might even be Poland because they already have a guard player.
So legitimately, because there's 2 Polish teams, of course, all those players on those 2 Polish teams are contending for their spots on the WTC team. And so whenever possible, they'll want to dodge.
Yeah, 100%. That's the only reason there's not 8 of them is because it's the second
Correct.
Polish team does not have the guard.
Because what do you gain if there's a Polish player on each of playing guard on each team? Well, whichever one does better is obviously the better one. The other guy loses out. So you just don't put yourself in that position. You take something else that you're good at.
Yep, makes perfect sense. And I think okay, let's keep going because I'm curious now. 3 Grey Knights, Space Marines are 6 Adeptus Astartes. Getting no real surprise there, except that means there is at least one team that didn't think the. No, never mind. Space Wolves, Blood Angel. They're all taken. They're all out. So they're taken.
8 out of 8.
That's 8.
That's 8.
That's
that's the math there, just so everybody knows. The Chaos. There's 6 Chaos Space Marines, 3 Death Guard, 1 World Eater, 7 Demons. But both Polish teams did take Demons, so one country did not take them. That's important to note. 3 Chaos Knights. Xenos, there's 2 Necrons, 5 Orcs, 2 Votan. Hive Mind, there's 3 Tyranids and 3 Geniuses. They're called Eldari. There is 8 Eldari. So there it is.
Mm-hmm.
Even the double squad of Poland teams both took Eldari. But there's so many Eldar players. They're really a surprise.
Well,
is that really a surprise?
Flavors of Eldari.
There are a lot of
could be 2 different, radically different builds.
That is true
for testing purposes.
Yeah, exactly right. And then, so at least if let's say you and I, Paul, are playing for on the same national team, I'll go to you and be like, "You're going to play Eldari as well, yeah, mate." Like, cool. Okay, well, I'll play this one. You play that one, and even if one of us does better than the other, we don't make it. At least I've added to your. I've added to you.
Information.
Added to me. Yeah. Exactly right. Exactly right. We have both benefited from this, regardless of the outcome.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Or also, like, there could be folks, I mean, like, on the international team, you only have so many slots. You've also got alternates and you've got coaches and things like that,
Correct.
So there could be a situation where these folks already have locked spots and it's like, what do we, let's do a little brewing here and see what comes out of this. Well, it's going to be very interesting. And Dory's got a question here is like, what are the demon lists looking like? Spoiler, we will actually go run down a demon list. If I had to guess, a lot of them are Slanesh.
So Dory, you asking, are both Polish teams bringing Slanesh? Yes, they are. Both the Polish teams are Slanesh lists.
I have done the stats on the demons because I did them for my own little research because I was curious. 6 out of 7 are Slanesh demons. 1 is demonic incursion, and that is Joel Larsen representing Sweden, who took that to absolute success at last WTC.
I like it.
And so he's just sticking with what he knows. He's got the 3 or 4 big boys. He's got the Be'lakor, GUO, and then it's just like multi-wound MSU. And he's done extremely well with that the world over. So he's just like, it's not broke. I ain't trying to fix it. And so yeah, you got to back him on that.
Yeah, by all means. That does mean that the faction podium is Eldari, obviously totally at 8, and Astartes technically, because they total at 8. Demons, Astra Militarum at 7, with only one team not taking either of those, and then Adeptus Astartes and Chaos Space Marines at 6. Only 2 teams not taking those ones.
Now, Chaos Space Marines is an interesting one because Chaos Space Marines now have such a spread of viable detachments that you really get to like say, okay, we're going to take Chaos Space Marines, but let's lock in like 4 or 5 of our other archetypes first and see which Chaos Space Marine one we need. Yeah. Do we need a pack bound? Do we need a Raiders? Do we need a Bile? I will tell you in this case, almost everyone's taken Bile. There is 1 Renegade Raiders, and then there's 5 creations of Bile. For the reason that you don't really see any World Eaters here, because I'm of the opinion that creations of Bile is just kind of a better World Eaters right now in the current matchups.
That's a hot take.
Hot take.
Yeah, it is. Well, it's World Eaters that can have a little bit of shooting for transports, right? It's just yeah.
Are they
it's World
going
Eaters.
back to all the possessed, like at least 20, 30 possessed?
Yeah, correct. Yeah, they've usually got most of them had Fabius and Cypher, and then at least 1 Chaos Lord with the super enhancement from Fabius Bile, and then they've got like cultists, a couple unit of legionaries, usually 2 or 3 rhinos, and then big unit of chosen to either get the Lord or Fabius. 2x10 possessed. A couple of them have 2x2 blitz as well, and like I said, that's a little bit of transport, dealing with power. And then the rest of it's just kind of MSU good stuff. Couple unit of bikers here and there, maybe a small unit of chosen as well. And so it's got like their 3 or 4 massive like world-ending hammers depending on the matchup, and then the rest of it's just MSU good stuff, which is kind of the bit that World Eaters miss out on. World Eaters just have like, here's all my bombs. My bombs didn't work, I lose. there's no plan B, right? There's no like plan B at all. Whereas the Chaos Space Marines get to have all the bombs and score all the points at the same time because they've got like cultists and bikes and stuff running around everywhere. So yeah, they're just seen as a more even performer in teams, especially than taking World Eaters.
I do love obliterators. I mean, that's one of the things that they bring a lot of like weird math sometimes to the table.
They do.
Correct. And they're a rapid ingress threat from range, which is something that World Eaters can't do. World Eaters can only rapid ingress for melee damage, and so that's another little change on it. But I did break down 2 teams. The first team I broke down in full detail with every unit denoted. The second team I broke down, I just did a cursory summary of what their archetype is. Of course, because it's 8-player teams, it takes a long time. But it was a bit of a toss-up, but seeing as they are the reigning defending champions of the world, here is the full breakdown of Team France. Starts off with a Death Guard Plague Company. Mortarian, Typhus. I will take a pause halfway through this for us to discuss the first 4 lists, just because I find it just too many words from me. So
too many words for Adam? Oh, geez.
Yeah, I know. Morty, Typhus. Well, the issue is, I give you 8 lists in a row, and then everyone forgets what the first like 3 or 4 of them were anyway. So Morty, Typhus, Terminator Sorcerer, Biologist Putrefier, and a Foul Blightspawn, so you can assume there's going to be 10 Plague Marines here, and then a Lord of Contagion, then the 10 Plague Marines, 2x10 Cultists, and a single Rhino, a unit of 6, and a unit of 3 Death Shroud, 3 Predator Destructors, and 3 Blow Drones. That makes up what they've chosen to take, which I think is a very well-rounded defender there.
But what are all those Blow Drones?
It's all shooting. It's a spewers. No flesh mowers, unfortunately.
Paul's out.
Yeah, we're out. Checked out. Star Shadow Arsenal of Necrons up next, which I was actually surprised to see. Silent King, Imhotep, Catacomb Command Barge, which is quite new for the archetype. Hexmark Destroyer, a Technomancer, 5 Immortals, 2 Crypto Thralls, a single unit of 5 Flayed Ones, 3 Ophidians, 6 Scarabs, which is new for the archetype too. A unit of 6 Wraiths, which will be going to the max unit of Wraiths because they'll get the 2 Crypto Thralls and the Technomancer. A single Destroyer, a Reanimator, a Canoptic Spider, and 2 DDAs. So actually going quite light on the range damage to get more chunk in the list, to get the Scarabs, to get the Wraiths. Only 2 DDAs and the Silent King for ranged output. Doesn't even have the unit of Heavy Destroyers with the Emetics. So a very tuned one here that wants to kind of brawl in the middle a lot more than you would think otherwise for Shatterstar. Next up, we have Creations of Bile Chaos Space Marines. pretty much the list I described previously. Cypher, Fabius Bile, 2 Chaos Lords, 10 Cultists, 3 into 5 Legionaries, 10 Chosen, 2x10 Possessed, 2x2 a Blitz, a unit of 3 Bikers, and 2 Rhinos. Really, really nice list. I rated very highly. Then we have the first of the brand new lists. Eldari, Devoted of Yunid, so Yunari. Vizark and Yvrain, 2 Autarchs, 11 Storm Guardians, a Warlock Skyrunner, 2x5 Dark Reapers, so no 10-mans here, 3x5 Fire Dragons, 3x5 Howling Banshees, 2x5 Striking Scorpions, 2x5 Wolf Spiders, 10 Incubi, 6 Wind Riders, and a Wave Serpent.
Wow.
I'll take a pause there for us to do some disseminations.
Are you counting the shield barrier as the 11th Storm Guardian?
Yeah, it's listed as 11. And so, yeah, I guess I do.
It's 11 models. I'm just giving you a hard time.
Yeah, you're right, though. You're right. The 11th model is the platform.
Okay. It's a thing. It could be a person.
Oh, no, it is.
It is. So France, at the WTC that they won, they took Death Guard when the vast majority of the other top teams, that was the thing that they didn't have. And that's because they have a Death Guard savant. They have a Death Guard absolute specialist. And the same for their Necron player, who is Arnaud, who came second in the singles last year. And but I'm really weird on this Shatterstar Arsenal list because it doesn't feel very Shatterstar-y. It feels like it's an Awakened Dynasty list masquerading as a Shatterstar, just for like the unkillable Silent King.
I mean, the unkillable Silent King's pretty good.
It's a hell of a unit.
And I mean, you have an unkillable Silent King. You have a very, very annoying to kill Wraith Squad with Scarabs that are going to have so much OC on an objective.
Yeah, well, do you know what I see this as? I see this as people are going to have armies that kill Silent Kings in their lineup. And you're going to be like, can you kill a Silent King whilst I screen it with 6 Wraiths and 6 Scarabs? And I bet you they can't, because pretty much no one kills the Silent King from range. Almost no one shoots it dead.
Good point.
That's one activation, absolutely not.
They almost all need to punch it to kill it, to guarantee its death. Because, of course, you shoot it once, it moves away. And so everyone kind of needs to trap it down in combat. Can you trap it down in combat with a Wraith screen and a Scarab screen? Absolutely not.
A Wraith with those extra models, too. So that's like that's a huge... I mean, then that wouldn't fit on this screen in front of me right now with the models. If you could block all angles with those things you're describing.
Exactly right. And in addition to that, one of the biggest issues of Shatterstar is it doesn't screen very well. It gets exposed by things arriving from reserve. Uppy Downy on Devastated Centurions. It's raining men Scions. It gets really exposed because after turn 2 or turn 3, you don't have any screens and it kind of dunks on you. The Wraiths and the Scarabs really solve that problem. So I think this is while it's losing a lot of its output by not, min-maxing the damage by having like the 3rd DDA or the Emitic unit, it's gone really deep into just making sure it has 5 games of play, 5 games of scoring.
Yeah, having the Silent King on the table for another turn or 2, could when it could sway the whole balance of the game, but also takes the place of those things that aren't there, or the Silent King not being there because he didn't have the right screens.
Love it.
Could be exactly what it is.
The Creations of Bile list is exactly what it looks like on paper. It's just a very good pressure list, which will be very hard for a lot of people to be confident playing into, because like you go to put down, what you predict your score will be against this on your pairings matrix, and you have to put 2 numbers in, because you have to put a number if you go first and a number if they go first, and those numbers will likely be very different. And so there's really not a lot of confidence people can have against a lot of the Creations of Bile lists out there.
This could be a list from the mid 2000s. That's
100%. 100%.
Yeah.
Me too. And then, what do you boys make of our first look at like a top tier player making a Yunari list?
It looks frustrating to play against because I know
disgusting.
Yeah, it's frustrating. The Yunari they're very underrated currently, which I think is about to change. Because people are starting to figure out, there's some good stuff in here.
The 2 Autarchs and the 2 units of Dark Reapers, I think, is interesting.
Yeah, I can't remember if they have the extra missile launchers, in which case that tells you exactly where they're going, or if they have the fusion guns, which also tells you exactly where they're going. They go the fusions, they go the fire dragons. If they've got the missile launchers, they go the Dark Reapers. Hell, they could even go sometimes they can even go in the Howling Banshees.
I don't know that the fire dragons need any help, and I also think that sometimes you send the fire dragons on a one-way ticket. I don't know that you want to sacrifice the Autarchs. I feel like that we're going to see that play rotate into the Dark Reapers
Yeah.
But doubling up on that, you've been basically invested twice into them, which is kind of shows you what I think this player's thinking about them, which a lot of players will have their eyes on Dark Reapers.
Now, I think we can all assume here that the Vizark and Yvraine are going to drop are going to join the 10 incubi, right?
100%.
That's a danger bomb. That is very scary for people, and that's an incubi unit that if is below starting strength has fight first on demand, that has Yvraine for a bunch of extra goodness and juice and a bit of shooting, and can be moving again. Because how do you play against this list and not kill stuff? Is the issue.
Can't.
And of course, every time you kill something, they get to move. At the end of that shooting phase, they get to move. And so it's freaking terrifying. The way I've seen people conjure ways to fight Ynnari is to try and do little bits of chip damage and then have a turn where they pick up like 5+ units.
Yeah.
But that's very hard to set up and gives a lot of agency to the Eldar player.
You have to plan out your turn very carefully, especially if you're doing things like cleanse or area denial. Like, you can't kill anything if there's a Ynnari unit sitting behind that wall, because at the end of the shooting phase, we've now committed to doing that action. Oh, now you don't know that objective anymore. Sorry about that.
Had to bring up the Vizark as the abilities here, as the Way of the Blade. While this model is leading a unit, models in that unit have the fights first ability. He also is a bodyguard of Yvraine, which gives other character models in that unit a 4+ feel no pain ability.
It is sick. All right, here's the next 4 lists. We have Astra Militarum, Bridgehead Strike Force, Creed, Gaunt's Ghosts, 3 Militarum command squads, 10 Cadians, 20 Krieg. So bring in the 20 Krieg Black. People didn't think the unit of 20 Krieg was going to survive once the Marshal, they gave him the 5+ feel no pain, got changed out. And especially, it didn't even matter because the Medipacks changed now as well to different stuff. 3x3 mortar heavy weapons teams. 3 units of 10 Scions, of course, to go with the command squads. 2 units of 5 Rough Riders, 2 units of 10 Kazakin, and then 10-10-5 Engineers and 3 Tauroxes. So this is full foot. Apart from 3 Tauroxes, this is just infantry. And I love this list. I think this list is excellent. It's got everything. Rough Riders making it back in as well. I do think that is necessary on WTC tables, because there is just so many positions on some tables you might find yourself on where a good opponent will just not let you, deep strike to draw a line of sight, and you just need to go around a wall and kill something on an objective.
Remember, we're talking about you got to go get the Eldari, and these help go get Eldari.
And Rough Riders are actually pretty good against Eldari. They're actually pretty good at picking up 5.
Anything that you send to kill them is going to be a trade up for the Astra Militarum.
Yeah,
for the most part.
Spot on. 100%. I couldn't agree more. All right, next up we have Astartes, Ultramarines, Gladius Task Force. Now, this is a very interesting list, and I got to tell you right now, I hate it.
Whoa.
Gilliman, I hate it because it's really good. Gilliman, Calgar, Combi Weapon Lieutenant, 2 Tech Marines. 4 company heroes to go with Calgar, 2 units of Desolators. This maniac has spent 400 points on 2 units of 5 Desolation Marines. The army's got double oath, baby. Gilliman's there. 2x5 scouts, 3 ballistas dreadnoughts to handle all your transport destroying needs, and 2 hammer strikes to give you ignores cover on demand. The only thing I'm weird on is the double techies. I feel like ballistas already hit on 2s very reliably, so they don't need it that much. The hammer strikes don't mind it at all, especially if they start on the table. But a lot of time, I see people deep striking and rapid ingressing their hammer strikes. So I'm interested to see what he does with the techies more than anything else.
They just add so much, like the kind of X factor with being able to replenish wounds. Sometimes they go berserk.
Yeah, they're cheap as well. They're only like
they get loan up on their vehicles too, right?
Yeah, the loan up and. Basically you could, if you have to move to get in line of sight, they can still be on the objective and still support the things that they're doing the work for you.
I assumed it was an army trying to have 3 lone ops, the Combi Weapon Lieutenant and the 2 Tech Marines. Because Gladius, of course, has a reactive move. The Combi Weapon Lieutenant already has an inbuilt reactive move. And so you got a little bit of jank there with a couple of lone ops to try and stress your opponent out. But the 2 units of Desos, can we just not? Can we all just agree we'll make a verbal contract that is binding that... No, stop it.
I'll sign that.
I will sign that. No more Desolation Marines.
I'll sign that.
Move on. Nah, chuck him up to 300 points.
No more Desos with rerolls and +1 in a wound. Like, come on. Like, this is out of hand.
Yeah. It feels like this is definitely an invention for this format. Maybe not a singles list.
Yeah, there are so many matchups in this meta that unit claps, that they absolutely dunk on. You think about what two units of Desos do to demons, to Slaneshi demons. Your units of demonettes, your wound batteries, gone, just deleted, absolutely gone. One, if not one and a bit per turn, will be gone from the game, and so you'll be going in with no ability to shift off wounds, and yeah, big trouble. All right, Leagues of Votann, Oathband. So Leagues of Votann making a, eight best players in the world kind of lineup. This is exciting. Ironmaster in here, Iron Hit Champion, 2x10 Hearthkin, 10-10-5 Berserks, very heavy on the Berserkers. 10 Jaegers, a big unit of Pioneers and a little unit of Pioneers, 2 Land Forts still, and 3 Sagittars. So still going with the 2 Land Forts, just because I assume this player is never going to have to play into Guard or Eldar. It's just my straight assumption. They're never going to let that happen. Because the 2 Land Forts are just a horrible into that matchup. But this is really heavy on the melee. Really heavy on the melee, guys. What do you make of it?
This is more what I'm used to seeing Leagues of O10, to be honest. I actually really like this style. I like the 2 Land Forts. I like the 2 big Berserk units. Like, I really like that number of Berserkers. 3 Sagittars makes sense. I like the 1 big Pioneer squad with still having the 3 man. Like, I like this a lot.
I love it. I love the 1 large Pioneer squad.
I do miss Thunderkin in this. I do miss them because I do highly rate Thunderkin.
That's where some generals seem to be like the trade-off is like, do I have more Berserks or do I have some of those other the elite style units? And they've gone with the Berserks, which
they've taken
a message.
Yeah, there's a lot of Hearthkin in this list too, like double the Hearthkin you usually see.
There's going to be 4 units of Hearthkin divided by the 3 Sagittars, then 5 probably sitting on your home. 10 Jaegers to hold space pretty much for the 6 Pioneers to possibly do turn 1 plays if you need to, or just, hold space for the Sagittars to also get their scout on. And then, the Berserks. I love the big units of Berserks because they all have fight on death. So they can go into fights first units with impunity. Like they're actually kind of immune to Banshees because they'll always trade into Banshees. And then the Banshees might not kill all 10 of them as well. They might still but the Feel No Pains can get a little awkward for them. All right, last list. Chaos Demons, Legions of Excess. No surprises here. Mask of Slanesh, Contorted Epitome, 2 Keepers and a Torment Bringer on Exalted Chariot. 2x10 Demonettes, 10 Plague Bearers, 3 Seeker Chariots, 5 Seekers, and then 6/6/3 Fiends. So not max Fiends. Made a couple of allocations there to get the 3rd Seeker Chariot. I see a lot of people taking 2 Seeker Chariots. He's got the 3rd here, and he's got the 2nd unit of Demonettes. I'm personally more of a fan of Seekers, because I find on some boards the Fiends kind of outpace the Demonettes, but I think I've seen some savvy opponents who have 1 unit of 10 Demonettes starting on the table, and then the Epitome unit is in reserve and can sometimes rapid ingress down and try and get into range into your opponent's shooting and mess up with your opponent's shooting phase or what they think they're going to accomplish that turn.
Oh, I like that. I like that tech.
Yeah.
Well, I like it when it's on my team. I don't like fighting against that.
And of course, Tormentbringer has the aura of +1 to wound.
Yeah.
So this thing absolutely slaps. It's a beautiful pressure list. It works really well in tandem with the Creations of Bile list that we have here as well. There's 2 relatively good shooting armies in the Votann and of course the Necron Shatterstar. And then the Death Guard as well is also a pretty good multimodal shooting unit with a bit of shooting, a bit of combat. And then pretty much we have the 2 aggressive MSU infantry armies in Eldar and Astra Militarum, who pretty much have just got transports. Apart from that, have just got boys, and bodies everywhere. So I think this is a great list with a bunch of different SKUs in it. And I'm a big fan of what France put together here.
Yeah, it shows they're trying to actually, play into there's a cohesive thing to the list, actual style choices you can tell with the list, and they are attempting to fight aggressively, I think, into the meta with some of these choices.
Literally, in some cases, like if you put down a defender that can't handle aggression, well, here's Creations of Bile and Legions of Excess.
Correct. yeah, exactly right. You put up a very stable, defendy type list. You can play into our Votann and Death Guard, where you kind of won't get anything big done.
How are you in MSU? Well, Eldari and Astra Militarum.
You put up your Astra Militarum, you can play against our double Deso Gladius or our Devoted if you need. Because I'm interested to see how that Eldar list does into Guard. I'm really keen. How that goes. I think this lineup is excellent. And so what the French did last year and what they did better than every other country, which is kind of why they won, is they weaponized their lineup better than every other country. They made their lineup just a better meta weapon than everybody else. And to be honest, the way that they've doubled up archetypes here, like they've essentially got 2 of each kind of archetype and then a couple of tweeners, I think is a beautiful thing. I think they've crafted this really well. All right, into our second team, the US of A. Now, the US has been taking massive steps forward at the international level. They've got their academy system up and going, and as far as I hear, the academy system is producing phenomenal players, and really pressure cooking some diamonds into some new players you probably never even heard of that they're taking here that are putting up exceptionally good results. They start off with another Creations of Bile list. This one's a little bit more tuned for full melee savagery without any obliterators, but it's double possess bombs, so still it's the same 2x10, 10 and 5 chosen, 3 Rhino, Cypher, Bile, and a Chaos Lord. So I'm not giving you everything here, just enough to get an idea of what it is. Astra Militarum Bridgehead Strike Force, 2 Ruggle Dawn Tank Commanders, and then it's the usual Scion spams, like the 45 Scions. I think he's got a couple of 5-mans in there as well. 3 Mortar Heavy Weapons teams for the Eldan matchup and the Mirror match, and then 3 Engineer units to go and sling some mortals.
There's some Catachin Heavy Weapons squads in there, I think. There's a bunch of the Scions, and this army can be everywhere.
Correct. Absolutely right. Then Orcs Tactical Brigade. This is the Brian Sipe list, because guess what? It's Brian Sipe playing it. 3 shock attack guns plus tank busters, 1 Breaker Boys unit. So he's reduced his Breaker Boys count. He was taking 2 and 3 units of them. And of course, he's got Bad Ruck's Flash Kit unit, which is what we call the Big Mech and Mega Armor plus the Flash Kits with 4 rerolls. And then the usual suspects, Storm Boys and bits and pieces. We've got an Adeptus Astartes Ultramarines Stormlance with Gilliman, Calgar plus Company Heroes, a Storm Raven, yes.
Whoa.
A single Redemptor to get strapped to the back of the Storm Raven, a Ballistus Dreadnought, and 2 Storm Speeder Hammer Strikes. Then you can assume, Infiltrators and Curses, Scouts, and stuff like that. That's a very interesting list and one worth unpacking. And then that's it. We'll discuss the top 4 and go from there. So they've gone a much more savage melee build for the Creations of Bile. Doesn't handle transports very well unless you get the 10 chosen in it and kind of double wrap them so they can't get out. But apart from that, that's a much more savage build there. They've gone for a bit more of the across the line Astra Militarum build. The previous one from France was all infantry and a couple of transports. They've gone the 2 heavy hitting Ruggle Dawns, which I do still very like. I think the Ruggle Dawns are so undercosted. What do you boys make of the first 4?
Ruggle Dawns are not undercosted. They're just good. That's okay.
I mean, you name out the first 4 as like probably the best 4 aside from Eldar armies you can bring. Like Eldar instead
if you would have dropped
the Chaos Space Marines, yeah.
Chaos Space Marines, yeah. If you put Eldar instead of Chaos Space Marines, that's like the 4 you should always have in every team's list moving forward for a little while.
Yeah, the Stormlance is a little interesting with the Storm Raven Redemptor. I like the tech. I want to see how that does for sure. That's different.
It's real cute.
But you know what?
I
think this is way better than having 2 groups of Desos, because you actually have to think more than just sit behind a wall and shoot whatever you want.
It's way better because you have to try.
You have to try.
Yeah. Fair. I respect and agree with that.
Is Astra Militarum an auto include? Like this is
if you have a Astra Militarum player, 100%.
Well, so the thing is, I'm seeing so much hype about Hammer of the Emperor as well at the moment.
Yep.
But no one took it to this. I'm seeing so much hype about Hammer of the Emperor. People saying that's the secret best one, rah, 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 rah. And it might be because WTC tables shut down the Dawns a little bit too much for people to go,
so go to the wall, shoot.
Yeah, exactly right. Because you get to use like one tank a turn.
Could be a good tank, though.
It could be a very
good tank. Best tank in the game, baby.
Could be a very undercosted tank.
Yeah, it could be that's what's holding that back. But yeah, I think there's a guard list for every meta as well. I think it needs to be a good reason not to take It's Raining Men Bridgehead.
And I do still think you do need like a guard specialist, because guard is not a pick up and play army.
It's really not.
It's really not.
Okay, the next 4 is Eldari Aspect Host, and the archetype
we get it.
We get it. You have lots of stuff. I've literally written that on it because I could not be bothered. Assume it's 3x5 all the good units, and guess what? You were correct. He does. I will tell you, he does have Azaman, Lycus, and Fuegan. and an Autark as the 4 characters.
I like
Grey
Lycus
Knights,
a lot. Yeah.
I like Lycus a lot as well. I'm not sure.
I'm
not sure. I'm not sure she makes every list.
up and down on Lycus.
I think she needs the right list, right? Because like if you just take her and you don't have anything that benefits from crit 5s like built into your list, like what's the point?
I feel like it's matchup dependent. That's the thing. Like in teams, if you know what you're supposed to be going against, but as Eldar, it's almost like a singles list right now. So is it necessary?
Yes, you definitely want to. When you can unlock an army-wide ability, you want army-wide things that can key off on that. I completely agree with that. But sometimes also like moving 24 and charging and killing something, is really. Anybody hate that?
Yeah, I mean the opponent usually does.
Right.
I would just
it's a small package. It's the warp spiders that can really go anywhere as well. Like you don't have to use that ability, but the fact you have that ability, I think, is sometimes worth the play on the table. But you're right; it remains to be seen. Like that's a complete theory. Have not tested into every situation.
I would like to point out, possibly KR is putting their case possibly for the comment of the day so far, the comment of the show. France doesn't have a whole kitchen, masseuses, and 50 coaches. They don't win this event. That's referencing the fact that they had like a full table banquet spread every round of WTC with getting back rubs and cold towels and stuff. And yeah, they had beautiful French Riviera music playing in the background. It was gorgeous to see at WTC. It was really funny. And probably benefited them greatly. All right, Grey Knights.
I'd say
Warp Bane Task Force, 6 Dreadknights, 3x5 Pergs. It's savage. It's a savage list.
Good. I like that a lot.
Tyranids
puts up good
Vanguard
results too. Like you want to. So in these events, I think and I'll equate this very slightly to football. Is like if you had a play that could get you 3.5 yards every single down, that's the play you would run all the time. That is what this list and like the Votan list is capable of doing.
Agreed.
Most of the time.
All right, Tyranids Vanguard Onslaught, 3 units of Gene Stealers, 10-10-5 with associated Broodlords, 5 Lone Ops. That's 3 Lictors, a Neurolictor, and Death Leaper. And then a Warrior Bomb and 6 Zoanthropes. Of course, a Warrior Bomb being with the Winged Prime as well.
Oh, and
I
yes,
think one of the
there is a Neurolictor or Neurotyrant with the Zoes. Yes, that was a question.
Yeah, correct. Well. And then Bird Jail, Adeptus Mechanicus, Guittari Hunter Cohort. 6 units of birds.
Blech.
That's all you need to know there.
Blech.
And the list is titled "Do Not Pass Go, Do Not Collect $200," which I thought was fantastic. And by pass go, he means score primary.
Can we talk about Tyranids for a second? I mean, because I have to. I mean, so there are 3 Gene Stealer cults, which I don't know what detachments they are playing, but I would imagine that at least one of them is,
I will tell you.
Right?
No, and so I don't. So I didn't look at the 3 Tyranid list. I looked at the 3 Gene Stealer cult list.
Oh, yeah. So the Gene Stealer cults list, I would imagine that one of them is.
No, not one of them was Final Day.
Wow.
No, it was 2 Hosts of Ascension and a Biosantic.
Yeah.
And because so yes, Biosatanic. And that is because they have better game into Eldar. I believe that's why.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Because the two Hosts of Ascension have like 80 plus neophytes have just like at least 4 units of 20 neophytes, and so that's a full ball flood. And Eldar don't have the quantity of shooting to dig it out.
Well, it's not even that. It's because they don't have the volume to wipe out one of those squads. And if you shoot one of those units, it comes back up, comes back down with all its buffs. And one of those neophyte squads can kill 3 to 4 to 5 MSU Eldar units without blinking an eye.
And I do think that the Final Day lists need a little bit more tuning before I think some of these players were willing to.
The problem right now, I can speak to that because I love Final Day and I've been playing a lot of it. Host is definitely, and Biosector are definitely better for teams right now, even just singles, because of this surgence of mortars and Deso Marines. If they start killing gargoyles, your entire army shuts down.
That's true.
Okay.
There you go. Yeah, well, that was a great question, Paul, because before I looked it up, I assumed it was going to be like 2 or 3 of them being Final Day.
Well, we got, a high percentage of Tyranids, what I thought were more Tyranids here, but there's also 17 Tyranids in the previous tournament we talked about, but that's definitely an upswing from week to week.
Tyranids are really good right now. Because they are like guard the fence. They have a list for any meta. They do.
Yeah, correct. And they're not a list that like crushes skulls Like they don't push massive differentials, but you can tune a GSC list to be fantastic for whatever role you need.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So they've got two jail lists, and they're the last two lists. It's the Vanguard list and the Bird Jail. They have like two like just uber damage dealing lists in the Ashton Militarum and the Grey Knights, and you can probably add the Orcs in there as well. I've seen how Brian plays Orc, and he's just like, wait, you're dead. And then they have an uber melee trading. In the aspect host, and they've got the full pressure melee in the Creations of Bile, and then they've got the X factor of the Stormlance Adeptus Astartes. So I like this lineup as well. It's got a bit more. It's not as cohesive as I think the French team is. As in like the lineup, I look at the 8-pack and I don't know if they've built these to be in an 8-man lineup together. It's more like they're probably just giving people roles like, we need your army to do this, we need your army to do that. But I think each and every one of these lists is exceptionally good for what it's being used for. I think they're going to do really well.
Yeah, this is a very good 8-pack. Very, very good 8-pack. I actually think the 8-pack is like visually better than the French one, aside from the fact that the French like they built their list specifically for their team, and they know how to pair.
Yeah, this much more feels to me like a team, like a national team, the leadership of Team America, giving their players mandates to like, we want you to build us the best teams list for this.
Yeah,
and then jam them all together and just bring in eight monsters.
Yeah,
and
I got to come in too and say there's a lot more variables when you're traveling across an ocean to play as opposed to driving up the street to play. I know I'm simplifying that for Europe, of course, but there's any variables you can try to remove from that greatly increases your chances of winning, or the impact of those variables. I mean, everyone's got to travel, everyone's got to bring an army, but the impact of those variables. And then when you're trying to win the whole thing, sometimes you do want to shave some of those impact
absolutely
variables down. Sure.
I know for a fact Tyler Bortel, who's playing the Adeptus Mechanicus, is picking up like 3/4 of his army when he gets to Poland, because traveling on that many flights with that many Birdie Boy AdMech models, disaster. Absolute recipe.
And that's a testament to the amazing community of Warhammer is that can happen.
They will be dust.
Yeah. Someone will either lend you models or be responsible for getting your package being shipped there or whatever. It's we talk about the competition, but the camaraderie is also there internationally.
Absolutely. Well. All right, time to pick some winners, my gents. We also need to pick a nation.
All right, so how are we doing this?
Okay, so pick your faction first, then pick your nation. So we're all going to pick our faction, then we're all going to pick our nation.
Okay, so then Adam picks faction first this time?
I'm going to pick faction first. I'm going Orcs. Well, essentially, I'm going Brian.
That's fair.
It was a hard pick. It was a very hard pick because there's not that many. There's only 5 Orcs, and it'd be very much easy to go with the new hotness and pick Eldar, thinking that.
Well, I was actually going to pick Orcs too, but not even for Brian, but because there's Brian and there's another list in here that I think is actually
correct. Yeah, correct. Yeah. There's like two of the 3 or 4 best old players in the world at this event.
Yeah.
Dusty boy, what would you like?
What would I like? You took my pick. Now I have to think. I don't like thinking.
CSM's a good pick. Any Astartes is a good pick. Eldar's a great pick.
All of these are good picks. I don't think Eldar is going to be a differential list, though.
Ooh, even on their first go out, that's a big call.
I don't, because teams like these are top countries. They're top players. Like
they're still tough as 3.
They're still tough as 3. Like people, they know that Eldar are going to be there. They know they got to be ready for it. I just feel like I'm gonna go with the Adeptus Astartes.
Okay, Paul, what would you like?
Eldari.
Yeah. One of us had to do it.
One of us had to.
All right, and starting with Paul, what nation do you want? Do you want me to just
USA?
Yeah. Dustin, what would you like, mate? So you got France.
I know.
Bringing a top team. Germany's bringing a top team. Sweden is just like essentially bringing the same team that they took to WTC.
Yeah.
So they're monsters. Netherlands got a very strong team. England is a bit of X factor because there's like 2 names that I know on that team, and everyone else is brand new. So they could all be monsters, or they could just be blooding some new players, trying to get them up to the level. USA still not a bad pick. And either of the Poland teams. I would say Poland A looks like it's a little bit better than Poland B, mostly because they got Stark factor.
But you don't have to pick Poland A or Poland B. You can just say Poland.
You can just say Poland and have two shots at the pie.
Wait, really?
Yeah, we're picking a nation.
Oh, I'm taking Poland,
team.
man. There's no reason not to take Poland.
I was going to take Poland if you did. And you're leaving me France. Let's do it. I was really considering France or Sweden. It was actually, I'll 4-up it. 1, 2, 3 is France. No, it was France anyway. So then my Destiny.
There we go. Well, good luck to everybody competing in these events we've covered and to others all around the world. If there's some, we're going to continue to cover big events each and every week. This is the point in the show where we are going to do something a little bit silly, or maybe silly. I don't know. We have a topic that is a palate cleanser after we've been talking about the heavy stats, the crunchy meta from everywhere, the wins, the losses, the odds, the stakes. Now, take a little bit of breather here at the end of the show. It's like what we call the Fuego Rapido. We give ourselves a series of topics and a clock to talk about, to pontificate, to elaborate or opine on those subjects. And when the clock hits 0, we abandon that topic, never to appear on this show again, unless the Patreon demands it. Exactly, or it's just too good. There's lots of reasons, but mostly Patreon demands it. And if you made it this far, please do not forget to like, share, and subscribe. Please do. The comments and everything goes a long way. Leave us 5-star reviews. Trick the algorithms into having other people come and hang out with us.
Here is
best in genre.
So we're going on with our best in genre theme, and it is movies today.
This might get tricky.
It's gonna get tricky because there's a lot of movies.
And this is a series of topics suggested by our Patreon.
And thank you again,
beautiful,
who suggested, because this is so much content and takes a lot less thought process on me when I do this. This is great.
Erwin Jackson is the gentleman's name.
Erwin is a champion of the community and the Meta Chasers.
Thank you for your support and for this topic.
Okay, let's see. First one. Best in genre for best horror.
Okay. Best is, of course, objective.
Right to the top rope, hey? Right to the top rope. All right, so everyone throw out like what they think is their 2 or 3 best. I'm going to start with Exorcist.
Okay. Nightmare on Elm Street.
Okay.
Nightmare on Elm Street.
We're getting good top ones here. I'm going to put The Shining up there.
Definitely. Great call. Great shout.
And here's where it gets contentious. Alien.
No. I 100%, because
100%
Alien. Yep. No.
I don't think Alien 2 was a horror.
Hmm?
I don't know if Alien 2 was a horror.
I consider that more of like a sci-fi action.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, there's more genres, so keep that one in the pocket.
Yeah.
Well, that's where it's, I think,
but, I think Alien, specifically Alien 1, not Alien 3, because that one's more of a horror, but that one was not. That was not Alien. That was original Halloween. Yep, good call. That one's pretty good too.
Yep. See, I didn't love the original Halloween. No, I didn't put it on. I didn't put it on the same level as Nightmare on Elm Street, where it has that like not quite creature feature, but
Well, Friday the 13th.
Yeah, sorry, Friday the 13th.
Movies that did just kind of like get me. I don't know, like this theater, is it getting hot in here? It's like whatever it is.
I want to point out that we're not even considering all these new ones that are coming out, because I personally don't like the new ones. I don't like the new.
I want to see Hard Eyes, but like Blair Witch Project. Amazing.
I got to put a shout out for Psycho, one of the original psychological horrors, and Silence of the Lambs.
Ooh, yes.
I'm gonna shout.
Okay, yeah. Is that a horror?
What's his Alfred Hitchcock saying, what's the secret of the shower scene or whatever? He's like 37 cuts and you never see the knife touch the body or whatever, 30 different camera angles, and like it's on your mind. You've done that to yourself.
The other one I'll throw out for modern horror, like the best horror movie that I've seen in 2 decades, Hereditary.
Okay. Had not seen that.
I've never even heard of it.
It's fantastic. Watch it, boys.
I'm throwing out my final one as Evil Dead 2.
Nice. It was better than Evil Dead 1. I'm gonna say Psycho. Psycho's my call.
Psycho's your call?
Yeah, Psycho's my call.
My call is. I think I have to go Shining, because no movie has ever given me the chills that Shining gave me.
That's fair. Paul?
Nightmare on Elm Street 1.
All right.
2 is they took that one off, and 3 comes roaring back.
Yeah,
that's fair.
Yeah. They phoned in number 2, didn't they?
Phoned in number 2. Okay.
All right.
Next up, best fantasy.
Lord of the freaking Rings.
Which one?
For me, it's number one. For me, it's Fellowship. Fellowship's my favorite Lord of the Rings film by far.
Okay. Yep.
I mean, that is the right answer.
That is the right answer.
Throw out some contenders, though.
The right answer.
Are
But
there?
here's another contention: The Princess Bride.
Ooh,
that's a good call.
That's a good one. Okay. All right. I respect that one. It's not better than Lord of the Rings, but sure, I put it in the category.
Yeah, I'll chuck it up there.
Conan, yes. KR, yes.
Yeah,
Conan.
that's a good shout.
Yes, that is a good one.
Do we rate like Never Ending Story or stuff like that?
Never Ending Story. We all have scenes, chipped into our mind,
Yeah,
etched into our minds
burned.
forever.
Traumatized into our souls.
There's a bunch of good ones.
There's got to be. Why are we not thinking of more fantasy one right now? Because there's a lot of good ones out there.
Highlander.
Yeah. See, fantastic.
Hell yeah.
It's not fantasy. I mean,
Yes,
it is fantasy. But
That's fantasy.
I mean,
It literally starts in medieval times, and then
great soundtrack.
Great soundtrack.
Labyrinth.
Okay. See, that's what I'm saying. Is
Labyrinth?
Labyrinth fantasy? I suppose it
There's
is.
magic in it,
but
so yeah, that kind of.
but it's set in a modern, what would have been the modern times.
Yeah. Dark Crystal.
Oh, Dark Crystal. Oh my goodness, Dark Crystal, and then the show that they did, the Dark Crystal, like the reboot or whatever. You forget you're watching Muppets.
Correct. It's amazing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Man,
But
we're
I
old.
think
We are naming all of the old stuff.
We are so old.
We
We're
are
just
so
nostalgic
old.
baiting ourselves.
We are dating ourselves so hard.
Things are simply impressions of those things from this point.
It's true.
On.
I don't watch all this new stuff coming out.
It is fun to realize that Lord of the Rings is now 20 plus years old.
Jesus.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's still dating us.
Still the best, though.
That's sad. That's sad that eventually
The original. So I'll put out the original Willy Wonka. Like
is that fantasy?
Gene Wilder. Yeah, I think it's fair. I think it's classified as fantasy.
Getting a little loose on this.
Yeah, we're getting loose now. We're going to move on to another topic. We're getting loose on this fantasy thing.
Fair.
Lord of the Rings.
Best sci-fi.
Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
Star Wars.
So, which one?
I still call the first one Star Wars. So
Yeah.
If you're going Star Wars,
you're
it's got to
gonna
be
say-
Empire. It's got to be Empire.
It's going to be Empire.
It's got to be Empire. Say Star Wars.
I
But-
will entertain people who say Rogue One for about 30 seconds. Before
Sure.
I say, shut up, it's Empire.
I think if we're going into sci-fi area now, I think Aliens is now a contender because that is
Correct.
Yeah,
Yeah, Aliens and number 2.
Mhm.
Yeah. that is definitely a contender in there.
There is quite a lot. I mean, how did you guys rate like Interstellar and like District 9 and stuff like that? Do you put those ones up there?
So yeah, but Godzilla.
Ooh.
Are we counting him sci-fi?
Yeah, Godzilla. Which Godzilla?
Yeah,
Which
100%.
one? Which one? That's important.
So I will say it's been a bit since I've seen them, and so the names kind of blend.
Are you
through
actually
me,
thinking the original ones?
So I am thinking of the early
Okay,
Godzilla.
then
and
we're already
the rubber suit.
good. We're already good. You don't need
Yeah.
to. We're dating yourselves already. As long as you're confirming
yeah.
you're talking about the earlier ones, yes, for 100%.
I'm going to nostalgia bait myself and say Flight of the Navigator because
That's
was
a
one of
great
my
one.
favorites.
That's a very, very good. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. I just had one of the, oh, you know what? Actually, what movie I like based on a book, but Ender's Game. I actually really like that.
Okay. Yep.
I really like that. It's not topping the ones we've already mentioned, but I want to give that a shout out because that was great. Tron.
Recently.
Tron.
Yeah.
Yes.
Original, right? Because the remakes were like.
I didn't even watch
I don't
the
know.
original.
I really like the first remake.
Really?
I
Yeah.
didn't hate it.
I should say it
but
wasn't a remake. It was a continuation. I really
I
liked it. I liked it.
I never actually watched it. Because I didn't want to ruin my impression of the first one.
It's pretty good.
All right.
I mean,
I have a
it's
kid-
pretty good when the context you're watching a Tron movie. Like
Okay.
it's
I mean, I would definitely be in that context in my head.
I shouldn't qualify it. You should watch it. It's good.
Okay. I'll watch it.
I think I have one more. Only one more to add.
Okay. Let's go.
Serenity.
Serenity? Oh, okay.
But see, you need the homework for that. To
But
be,
say- that's
you
the
know
same as
what?
Star
I
Wars.
love it.
Do you?
Like it's the same
I
as
have
Star
a
Wars, right?
wall dedicated to Firefly. Like,
Oh, sorry. I'm not even done yet. Sorry, I've got 2 more. Never mind.
yeah.
KR Total Recall. I can't believe you didn't think of that one. Total Recall's
Yes.
absolutely up there. Like
Yes, that was one. I
high
have 2 more.
contender. You have 2. Okay.
Fifth Element.
Oh yeah.
Mwah.
Yeah.
So freaking good.
Yeah.
And what was the other one? Starship Troopers.
Yeah, these are all contenders.
I still think it's Empire for me.
It's
though.
still Empire for me as well. But these are all good call outs.
Oh, I'll give you that one. Again, it would be for me. I float between Empire and the original Star Wars.
Yeah.
All right.
Today, I'm feeling more.
We've
New
actually reached a consensus on the last two. That's good. This is good. This is progress, boys. We're next best comedy.
Okay. Shit.
Talladega Nights.
Oh, not bad. I mean, Anchorman,
Definitely Will Ferrell's two best movies.
Zoolander.
Zoolander's
fantastic.
I definitely
Bill and Ted. Yeah.
Bill and Ted, the original.
The original. Oh, Bogus Journey was okay, but
Bogus Journey was okay. I just don't put it as high. And if you watch the new one, watch it, but it's definitely not in the same.
No, I refused. All right, so I would like to put out all the slapsticks, like Airplane, like Mafia, like
Naked Gun.
Naked Gun. Yep, I'd like to throw all those out there as options. Hot Shots as well.
Yeah,
for all those slapstick satire ones, they're fantastic.
What is the movie that has and will constantly make you laugh the most every time you see it?
Happy Gilmore, probably.
Yeah, very cool. Yep.
Okay, that's a good one.
I'm thinking quotable things that like you just know that like you could shout this in a crowded room and
everybody
you're
would
gonna get
know,
everyone's
yeah.
like, I gotcha.
Yeah. So one for me that I see, I'm not even sure it's a. Can you call The Mask a comedy?
Yeah,
It's
absolutely.
a comedy, right?
Yeah,
that's my one.
I mean,
That's
Jim
mine.
Carrey.
Jim Carrey. Yeah,
I can watch that on repeat.
Jim Carrey before he got serious.
Shout out to The Big Lebowski.
Big Lebowski too. I'm actually trying to think of. You know which one it is for me, and this is a little embarrassing that I will always laugh at this, but Dumb and Dumber.
Nice, yeah. It's just good baseline, totally fine.
Yeah.
I will now just say Monty Python. Any of their films?
Any of them?
Yeah.
I will go with either Life of Brian or Holy Grail.
Holy Grail. Yeah, they were better than Meaning of Life.
Yeah.
This will be hard to define a best.
I do think we are. We're just throwing out the ones we like.
It's true. That's why I said the one that makes you laugh the most every time you watch it. For me, I think it's Dumb and Dumber because I always laugh at that toilet scene. I can't help it. It's
I'm gonna pick one of the Monty Pythons. I'm just gonna roll a d6 for Life of Brian or Thing or
Holy Grail.
Yeah. Holy Grail. Holy Grail one. Okay, that's my
You couldn't even remember it as Holy Grail.
Holy Grail is certainly the most quoted and quotable.
I think so. Yeah. I could get down with saying Holy Grail.
It's also the most quoted in like tabletop gaming.
That's true. You know what? Holy Grail has to take it then. Monty Python Search for the Holy Grail has to take it because of those reasons. It is the most recognized quote wise.
In every tournament
even if
I've
you've
ever
never
been to.
seen it, you have 1,000% heard quotes from it hundreds of times.
100%.
Okay, there we go. We got it. Next one. Best action.
Oh, best action. I mean, Die Hard is up there.
Yeah. Is Predator an action movie?
See, could be sci-fi. Could be
it could be sci-fi. It could be horror.
Is The Matrix an action movie?
It could be sci-fi or action.
You know?
Shit, we didn't even think of the original Matrix in sci-fi.
For sci-fi, yeah.
That's a contender.
But for Empire, no. Best action. Okay, so Matrix is I think that's up.
Yeah,
right
I mean
now.
the scene in the whatever the hallway when they're firing the guns all through the hotel or the security guards or whatever. Come on, it's first time bullet time.
Revolutionized everything. My pick's still Predator for action movie though.
Predator, that's a good one.
I mean,
extremely solid.
You could make a case for Terminator 2. There was a lot of action in that action movie.
Oh yeah,
I have a confession to make
sci-fi,
about
though.
Predator.
Oh.
I saw that in the theater and I had no idea what it was about. You know, I was sitting there in the thing, and I see the thing get dropped off at the spaceship. I'm like, am I in the right movie?
Excellent.
That's funny too. Yeah. Oh, Rambo. Okay, all right, yeah. Well, wait, Rambo 2,
Rambo?
right? Rambo 2. Rambo 1 was. That's more almost like a drama.
Yeah.
Oh, First Blood is. It's like this is. What am I?
It's a tragedy.
Watching?
Yeah, it's a tragedy.
Dude, it's a freaking tragedy.
It's depressing.
But Rambo, you know, he's got the bow and arrow blowing up people and their shoes are left or whatever.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Yeah, Terminator getting thrown out there as well.
Terminator, yeah. Right.
Hard boiled.
Hard
John
boiled.
one John move action gun, basically gun.
Oh yeah,
Video
that's
game.
true.
Gun
There's a lot
kata
of there's a
stuff.
lot of good martial arts movies too. Like,
Oh, geez, you want to open up any of the Jackie Chan or Bruce Lee?
Exactly,
action
like they're
movies?
action.
Yeah,
Yes.
wow.
I mean,
Wow.
early Jackie Chan are some of my
Dude,
favorite.
Police Story, one of my absolute favorites of Jackie
Really?
Chan.
I like
Fantastic.
Rumble in the
Dude,
Bronx.
Brilliant. Rumble in the Bronx is fantastic as well.
Fantastic.
Imagine just writing that scene. He's going to be in a Lamborghini with a giant serrated sword. He's going to take out a hovercraft. Yeah, that's what we're going
That's
with.
what we're going with.
That's
It went to
gets
the.
it. I think Die Hard wins this one, though. I mean, right?
I would say it's Die Hard or Predator. What you take your pick. Take your pick. I will live with either.
Die Hard and Predator. Like Paul's pretty set on Die Hard. Die Hard is. I can go with Die Hard because I've probably willingly watched Die Hard more than I've willingly watched Predator. Not that I wouldn't, because
Well, I was going to say, if they were both on TV right now, which one would you linger on?
Oh, whichever one's not on commercial. Just go back and
That's
forth
a good.
between them.
Yeah.
Like,
Answer the question, Dustin. Don't procrastinate.
which one would I watch?
This is we're going to do some more voting by panel things.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's probably Die Hard. If they're both on, I'd probably watch Die Hard.
Disgusting. That's fair. No, it's an amazing movie.
Look, Predator's real good though.
Predator, it would like I'd be.
Oh my god.
I'd be sad. And again, if Die Hard ever goes to commercial, I'm on Predator until it's on commercial. Like it's not.
Fair. All right.
I think that's it. We're on to the meme theme of the week.
Oh, that's a good one.
Wow. There are so many more genres.
There's
we can
so
do
many
for
like
that one as
this,
well.
and I
You got
added
Westerns,
I added
drama, historical.
I added a slide.
like-
I had put one more slide than I normally do for this, but like, okay, this is not. We can't go any further.
I'll throw
Yeah.
some suggestions that we didn't remember into our Discord.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
We'll do that. This is where this Discord comes in. We think of them afterwards. Like Matrix would have shown up there, I'm sure, in like 20
Yeah.
minutes. Okay.
All right.
So this week's meme theme. The guy with the coffee cup saying, change my mind. So
Yunari is problematic.
Desos are
Change my
problematic.
Desolation
Out of
Range.
line of sight. You should not be able to re-roll or get bonuses to wound out of line of sight. Change my mind.
How many times do you want to nerf indirect? Like just
Until
Get
it's
good.
unplayable.
like what?
So what I love is that on like essentially every middle of last year balanced starter slate, flyers got hit every single time. We're still taking flyers.
And we don't even see flyers anymore. Like
Mhm.
you've talked
Yeah.
about a couple of fringe cases, but like,
Yep. And indirect copped 6 to 9 months of consistent nerfing. Bang, straight back in the game.
Yep.
Like you can't
But
kill it. You can't keep it down.
isn't it a response to what's being taken?
It is
though.
100%.
So-
Well,
100%.
it's also keeps
Like
getting
if you
reset.
take
Like it was nerfed properly. I think it was an 8th edition where you couldn't get rerolls that couldn't hit on better than a 4. Like I think that was all you needed to do, and then they reset it. Like okay, it's probably fine again now. And now they've slowly started to add those nerfs in again. Like
let's give some
Come
double
on.
nerfs and then some bonuses.
Yep. Like I was tabling people with guard indirect at the start of this edition. It was
Yeah,
disgusting.
mhm.
exactly.
It was not fun. And so, but now I will say, indirect is a mode of engagement. It's not tabling people. Like Desos won't table people. If you're
No.
just sitting in a Rhino, you're immune to Desolators. They don't do anything. So I will say, at least that's changed. Like at least that's changed.
sure, it's definitely it's not as prevalent or oppressive as it was. I'm not saying it's broken,
Correct.
but
Yeah.
Desos are
It's
a
just-
little too good for their points right now with Oath.
Well, we just get to tick off another thing off our bingo card. Where is an addition of 40k. Oh, cool. Flyers are going to be problematic. I'm still waiting for horrors to be problematic because they're a problem every edition,
Mhm.
and indirects are problematic every edition. We tick these 3 things every edition, and we're 2 out of 3 done. 2 out of 3.
Well,
done.
I mean,
anything
Uh,
that does take a whole thing out of the game, like line
Yeah.
of sight or
Yeah.
whatever, is I could see how that's real hard to balance.
Well, we can add Yunari to that because Yunari's been a problem for 7th, 8th, and 9th edition.
That's true. Actually.
So,
Once
yeah,
Yunari
that's
came
a-
in,
yeah.
every edition Yunari has been a problem at some point. Yep, that's
Has been a
that's
problem.
new checkbox on the bingo
Yeah.
card.
on the bingo card. All right, but what are your boys? I just put out one there for change my mind. Come on, up your
I
game.
I
Let's
did
go.
2 or 3. Come on, Paul, give us one.
What? I'm just right about everything. I can't have my mind changed.
It just
I'm
reads
kidding.
you can't. It just reads you can't.
Yeah.
You
can't. I got an easy one. Teams better than singles. Change my mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I can't change that mind.
No. Let's see. Let me try to get something. Death Company Dreadnoughts better than Ballistic Dreadnoughts.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a good one, KR. Bloodless Angels are fine.
Ultramarines shouldn't have +1 to wound oath. Change my mind.
No, I can't change your mind on that one. That's good.
Yeah. I mean, they've got all the trappings and support of a sub-faction Marines army, but get all the bonuses.
Yeah.
Let's see. How about this? I used Gilliman Flesh on some Storm Guardians because, Gilliman, may or may not have decided to hang out with the Eldari.
I was about to say, what are you saying? They're the progeny of.
I was wondering where you're going to go with that.
I'm not going to finish that for the sake of the children. But
I was really curious.
The
where
adults
you're going
understand where you're going with that, Paul.
That is
hilarious.
Fuego, though.
Oh, and that contrast paint just does good work. That's why I used it.
It's just a good paint.
Oh, that is our show this week. We come back and join us next week. Please do not forget to do all the stuff with the interaction with the show. Leave those comments, and maybe consider checking out our Patreon. Patreon gets you access to, level 2 and higher, gets you access to the follow-up show we do. It's a short show that we do where we look back at our predictions to see who came the closest, and we also do the breakdowns of the top 10s. We talk about some lists that did really well, so a lot of cool information, and we do a little bit of a elbow nudging to the other panelists when either because they got it nailed right, or they were so far off the mark. It was crazy.
It's going to be a very good. It's going to be a very good one to get the part 2 of, like to look back at Cherokee and Pyra in this brand new meta. What I'm going to be really deep diving Pyra and the results there. Like I'm going to go through all the Eldar games and just see who took wins of Eldar and just tell you guys who beat Eldar at this event. And I think the whole world wants to know that right now.
USA is better than Canada at hockey. Just as like I got to ban KR real quick from our chat.
That's fair. He should know better.
I'll try to throw some other best in genre suggestions in the Discord. Thanks a lot for joining us. If you are interested in joining us live, we do this at 9 p.m. on Thursdays each and every week. We'll see y'all next week, everybody.
See ya.
Take
Good
care.
night.